I pulled up a slightly larger P&L here. And the one thing I want to add to it is, you do want to separate your sales channels. So, Nate was talking about having the advertising split. I also really want to understand how Amazon performs over time versus Shopify versus eBay. If you have a wholesale network where you're selling to retailers that are bricks and mortar, the quality of those earnings can be different. And I want to understand, like a great example of it, Nate, might be that you may be able to show total sales that are still up year over year, but a major sales channel broke 6 months ago. Like you're not selling to a major brick and mortar shop anymore. Well, as an investor, I need to know that. I need to understand that context and that color, or I'm not going to be able to make a valid offer on your business. I don't know anything else you want to add to that, but I think that's basically a quick walkthrough of the P&L.
Yeah, I like that part too. I think maybe one deeper level sophistication could then be how the advertising is tracked to those different sales channels. But that now we're starting to get into complexity land, 303. We're starting to get there. But as it's sooner or later that's going to come up. If you're advertising on Facebook, some of your Facebook advertising could be amplifying your Amazon sales, or maybe your Shopify. So a sophisticated direct to consumer merchant or retailer, seller here in this instance, should be able to track, what's going through paid marketing from one source, Facebook, to a destination. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you can track the organic effect of those paid ads, because sending a bunch of paid media from Facebook to Shopify will translate into organic sales in Amazon, and there is a direct correlation. That's fairly untrackable. Someone knows how to track that, by all means tell me, because I haven't seen it yet. But having some of that detail could be critical at the larger level too.
I totally agree. And even if something like that, like understanding Facebook efficacy with relation to a Shopify versus Amazon, that can be a difficult data point to capture even in a good accounting system like this. But what you're mentioning there, Nate, is understanding your customer. Your customer is a future investor in your business, understanding their frequently asked questions and putting together a packet that alleviates that question by answering it right away. There's no excuse for sellers that are doing 7 figures, even a high 6-figure seller, to not use pixels and to not use Google Analytics and to not have a way to at least tell a coherent story. Because even though you may not be selling a product that let me just say this, every product has a funnel, and your ability to articulate to an investor how well your funnel operates. I put a token in, my machine works, and it spits out X number of sales. Your ability to articulate that in a clean manner is going to be supported by your accounting, but you're probably going to need to have some other dashboards and some other data points that help you tell the story, because that's really an important piece of this. And I agree with what you said earlier, Nate. The reality is, American accounting tends to you have to put the advertising down below gross profit.
Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller?